All righty. It's 7:30. I'm messing around. Okay, so it's 7:30. We are live on the page, and I'm pretty ready, I think, but not as. I always want to spend more time on prep on this, and I don't end up doing it for whatever reason. But I'm gonna go with the flow here and stick with the time and everything. I think this is how's everybody doing? Thanks for I have no idea where the show. Actually, you know what? We're gonna do something different here. I'm gonna talk, Mark, about. Um, I'll say there is a show in Spring Hill this weekend that you can visit. We I don't think I'll be there. Well, I might be there, but I don't know. I don't even know what I'm doing this weekend. So we're reorganizing. Um, J- Baker Junior. That's completely not my spelling of the name, but anyway, but that's okay. It's Mitchell actually is my middle name. But yeah, my show. We do not have a show this weekend. We had three in a row. That's probably good enough. I mean, you said you wanted a break, right, Mark? I think that's what you said. And thanks for coming out, Andy and Mike and Lisa. Thank you for being on the at the show this last weekend. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about not only this past weekend, but we're going to talk about the show coming up, and some of the schedule updates that I've got. We're making some changes. Every every show we learn something new. Okay. We've done literally probably, I'm going to guess we've done somewhere. I'm just on Eventany. I know we have around 80 shows that since I switched to Eventany somewhere in, I believe 2023. We've done 80 shows on Eventany that we've had, including the ones maybe that are on there now. And so I'm going to guess that we've done, almost 150 shows now in the time since we've been doing shows in 2019. So it doesn't matter the show. Every show, we're learning more. Okay, we learn more, and we're refining the show, and now where we're at now is we have to, we're making changes because it's not, really the show still runs. The shows still run basically with me going and getting the venue, me creating the graphics, me putting the show out there, and me creating the advertising and running the advertising. Which I'm going to talk a little bit about that advertising here later. Anyway, and so basically I'm doing, I would say, 99% of the stuff up until the show. My wife Lisa handles anything that is in the front, including all the wristbands, all of the things. But because of that, I'm doing a lot, and sometimes things get, slip through the holes, or I'm overwhelmed at the show itself at the beginning of the show because I'm trying to make sure everyone is there. Tables aren't empty. All of these things. Okay, there's a pile of stuff, and what I've realized is that because I have all of this pile of stuff that is building up, sometimes I'm not the most friendliest person in the morning. That's not the person that I am. Okay, it's just I've got a lot going on at one time, and so I don't come off the way that you see me here because I'm not running a show right now. So what we're doing to fix that is I brought in, TK is going to be helping us more. Sean is going to be is at every show now, and he's helping with the setup and takedown of the show. But he's also going to be helping TK and when he's there, or managing vendors, so that you're gonna see me more vendors. You're gonna probably see me more, not at 6:30, not at 6 o'clock, and maybe not even at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to wait and come in when really we just need to. This is what we're going to try, okay? Because I want things to run. The goal is to be able to do multiple shows in a weekend, maybe of somewhere, okay, or just heaven forbid, like I'm sick or something, the show still goes on, okay. This is part of what I've been trying to do. So it's not just me, being overwhelmed or whatever. I really want it to be able, because the shows are really bigger than me now. Like there's a lot of people that count on these shows, and there's a lot of things, so I just want to let you know that we are making changes every show. I'm making refinements, and we're going to continue to do that. Part of that is because I just got off the phone with TK and Sean on this. We're gonna, with vendors, because I know there's a lot of vendors on here, and I appreciate everybody being here. Hey Larry, how you doing? And then thanks to me, new rule is everyone has to wear clothes. You're killing me, Jason. I did see that you posted a 944 picture, a very nice, cool 16 candles ish a car. I wish I had mine running and it looked as nice as yours. So, but it doesn't. But that's okay. I can appreciate yours, like in Ferris Bueller's. So, but we're gonna be adding some things to the vendor, to the vendors, procedures and stuff like that, just to be a little bit more organized. Okay. But I believe, like this last weekend, I let TK and Sean really handle the morning, and everything went very, very smooth. So I want to hats off to them, and thank you, Shimon, for coming out, and hopefully you guys are doing well. All right. I want to say, hey to our friends the Boyles. After the show in Tampa, they had a health scare there. He sounds like he's doing all right, but you never know, guys. Take every day, take it easy out there, and take every day, one day at a time. Okay. All right. So we had 3 shows in 3 weekends, 3 weekends in a row. Boom, boom, boom. So Jeff is Mikado is gonna say I always mention him in a negative way, but I'm positive way. But so you can't say that we didn't work this month. Anyway, but so it was 3 shows in 3 weekends. Now, this last weekend we were down, so every other show we were down about 100 people. Okay. Now, why is that? Is it something that I did different? No. Is it something that the show did different, or wasn't the right stuff there? I don't think so. Okay. You had, we did 3 shows in a row. The first one, we had a lot of our fans come. Not that we didn't have those fans come this last weekend, but some of them probably went to 2 shows. Okay. And then the third show, maybe they ran out of money or whatever. Okay. So there's a lot of factors. It was really nice. The weather was really nice. It was by the beach and all that, but we're down about 100 people from last year. So I don't know why that is. We did everything the same. So, but overall we had, well over 4,000 people come to the shows in the last three weeks. So it's not like, we're off or in a overall we're still really, really good. And really we're up over last year because we didn't have the Altamont show last year. I think we only did 2. I think we did 2 shows and maybe the Star Wars. I think
we still had 3 shows in April
I'd have to go back to the. I have to go. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, we had the Sarasota show.
Yeah, we did Sarasota.
Sarasota, which the reason why we haven't been back to Sarasota, guys, um, is because the building is under construction. Okay. They're closed. They changed the management, and then they're doing some renovation there. So that's why we haven't been to the Sarasota this year like we were last year. So I am planning on going back there. Could probably set up a show in Sarasota somewhere else, but right now I kind of like that venue. So and I'm busy with other stuff anyway. So I'm okay right now. So, which I'm going to get into some changes of the schedule. So again, we had well over 4,000 people at the show this last 3 weeks. I think I was pretty tired getting home. The other thing that I did, um, uh, oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. Mike says, might have been an off weekend. The show I did in Inverness on Sunday was low attendance also. Well, I wouldn't say it was low attendance. For maybe that one was. We had a pretty good Saturday. I just think, you know, I was expecting more. And we're gonna have a 2 day. We're gonna have a 1 day show next time we book there. We are gonna be booking there again this year. I'm gonna get into that. Everyone loved the venue. There's no one that didn't like the venue. The venue is amazing. I had my wife. There was an issue where Bill Murray was in town, and he had his golf outing, and his golf thing bought out the hotel through Friday. So basically, I couldn't even. We spent a lot of money renting this space, and we couldn't even stay there unless we only wanted to stay there on Saturday. So I don't blame them for not having it, but I wanted a specific date, and I didn't realize that I couldn't stay there on Friday. But the reality is, so it ended up working out. It just we didn't get to stay on property, which kind of sucked, because we ended up being down the road. And I think I paid more for a hotel that wasn't as nice. I mean, it was still nice, but it wasn't as nice. I mean, if you guys go to World Golf Village and you go in this hotel, it is super nice. And the venue, the space is super nice. It's carpeted. The tables are good. You got they put tablecloths on all of them, and all that stuff. It very plenty of walk room, all of that stuff. So it's really the perfect size. It is about 12,000 square feet, and if we were doing shows and we were picking out, to me, that's the perfect size for our show. So and so anyway, let's see. Okay, so we had customers from Georgia. We had vendors from the Alabama. Hopefully, you guys took advantage of the guy that was in the front there, and we had Eddie there, and Eddie Deason, and then we had John Anderson. Great guys, man. These guys are just great people all around. Okay, great time. It's just we would have liked to have more people. So it wasn't like bad. It was just not spectacular. Okay, I think I can probably everybody would agree with that. You know, but I think that the weather was a factor. I think that the fact that we did 3 shows in a row was a factor. I just think that it's just, but as far and then I really I need again as I give out things to for people as far as having other people do things. I'm gonna have more time with flyers and getting and once I start the magazine, which I'm gonna have going by this summer. um you know we're going to be in stores more because I'm going to mail all these books and everything to these different locations. So or I'm working on having a drop off person that's going to hit the partner stores that we're going to have. And so I didn't have time on some of these to get into the stores, get flyers on out to them and something. That's something that we try. I appreciate you coming on here. You're one of the people I'm going to talk to about this magazine and flyers. I did give Abe a bunch of flyers to give to you. Hopefully he stops by soon. If not, I'm going to mail them to you. Okay. So I appreciate you being on the show. Tri Bowman is an owner of the Forgotten Toy Box in Jacksonville. If you haven't been to his store, he's got great items in that store. He's got a nice shop and stuff. I don't know. I think I gave him a little neon sign, so I don't know if he's using it or excuse me or not, but hopefully he is. If not, that's okay too. All right, but yeah, so we the other thing that I learned this weekend is that the Embassy Suites. I mean, Lisa was not really wanting to go back there anyway, but the Embassy Suites up there at Bay Meadows is just too small, I think, for us. We had such great feedback on the World Golf Village venue this weekend that we're gonna have to stick with that venue or something of similar size. The guys from I'm gonna put them out there. The guys from First Coast Comic Con, they didn't set up with us this year, but they did last year, and they gave me another venue. The guy from there gave me another venue that they moved from that's about the same size. So I'm not going to go into it now. I'm going to look into it, but as of right now, I'm working on just rebooking the World Golf Village for the fall, and I'll get into that date here in just a minute. So again, Bay Meadows is it's about a third of the size of what we had this weekend, and it's pretty tight. I mean, everyone knows it, but the reality is that it's just we get people that are disappointed. They're like, "Where's the rest?" Kind of a thing. So the other thing is, I need more signage. That World Golf Village is so big. We learned some things about the signage, but everything else really went pretty smooth. Okay. I think, like I said, everything went pretty smooth. The only issue really we had was it wasn't as many people as we were expecting, or even I was expecting. And so that is going to go to a 1-day show. It's a very expensive building. So I just think that we're the king, I guess. I tell people, people say this to me, that, I'm the king of the 1-day. So you're going to mostly see 1-days here, with the exception of Tampa shows. And that is because the Tampa shows, the building is basically the same price for 1 or 2 days. So it doesn't make any sense for us to go to 1-day. All right. I am also, it's not on here, but I really want to put Coral Springs as a 2-day show, but we're going to stick with one. We're sticking with one because couldn't get 2 days, but next year it will be a 2-day show also. So we're going to do 3 or 4 shows that are 2 days, but most of them are 1-days. All right. So this is a current schedule. I'll post it after our video. And there's so many dates on here that I don't have the room for, but some of them I'll take at least one off so that my website can be on here. This one is mostly for this discussion. And because I have Bradenton on here, and that is a question mark, I've swapped some dates around. So some of them, and I'll go over them here in just a minute. I'll go over that, but let me talk about the upcoming Port St. Lucie show. So let me go ahead and remove that. So we are going to have Keith Coogan, who lives on the East Coast, is going to be joining us at the Port St. Lucie show in a couple of weeks. He hasn't been to a show in a little while. I think, what was the last one that he did, Lisa? I think seems like it was Jacksonville last year.
Jacksonville in September.
Yeah, Jacksonville, September last year. The other guy we haven't seen, I can't believe, or I'm kind of amazed at, is Brutus. So we haven't seen him since January. So, but we're gonna try to get into. I've got people that are hitting me up to be guests now, so we might have a guest at maybe one guest at each show that I think that we can afford. So, but anyway, yeah. So Keith is going to be at the show. in a couple of weeks. That's at the Port St. Lucie Polish American Club. We are gonna have because there was parking issues last time, and we're sticking with our early bird pricing that we have. So it's going to be 15 before noon and 10 after noon. Okay, and part of that is and the vendors that have been to the shows all year. Um, what we find is that you get the group of people that really want to be there in the morning, and then you'll get people that at noon that want to come for the cheaper price. And what it does is it makes it makes the flow of the show go a lot better. Okay. And then also it's going to fix the parking. I mean, we did have a blood drive bus in the parking lot last time, which kind of really screwed up the parking lot. But we do have we are gonna have that in place. And then we'll have Abe back cooking. He'll be out front, and that is the plan for Port St. Lucie. This is the only right now Port St. Lucie. This is the only Port St. Lucie show that I have planned this year, as of right now. And then you'll notice on my schedule, I don't have any. Let's see, I don't have any. Let's see, November stuff on here that just isn't. We will be doing at least maybe 2 shows in November, but right now I don't have them set up. I've been working on Super RetroCon maybe for November, but I wanted to do it at Desertland, but it's not looking. They haven't gotten back to me, and then so we're probably will do an Ocala maybe, and then possibly a Coco or Bradenton or something. So I'm still working on nailing that down. I did talk to the lady just to go back to this schedule. So you'll see I've moved Bradenton to the 27th. This is I should have said this is in process too, but I did put the name of it in. So this is I'm waiting. The lady's on vacation. I'm waiting for her to get back to me. So I had already talked to her before when we were there. I talked to her about the date for September. She said she would check with the farmers market and get back to me. I haven't heard from her, so I checked in with her today, and she's on vacation. So I just put that down for the 27th because I did get sorry, I'm going to make the schedule bigger here. I did hear back from I did hear back from World Golf Village already for the 13th, so they can do that. And then let's see, what other change did I make on here? Oh, I also heard back from the Hilton Orlando Altamont. Now, you guys might remember that if you were at the let me go ahead and if you guys were at the last Star Wars show that we did, I think, what was the last one? September? When was the last one we did, Lisa?
I don't remember.
Okay, well, it was a while ago. Okay, so I don't think it was definitely, I think it was September, August. That's what it was, August of last year. So at that time, I wanted to move the Star Wars show, okay, to somewhere else. Nothing against the VFW, but I don't. My problem with the VFW is that when I go in there, I have to move tables around. Okay, so that we have a big construction thing basically when we go in, and it's kind of frustrating, because I don't have to do that anywhere else. And then on top of that, it's very limited parking, and then the veterans there, some of them, or the way it's set up, because it's set up for public, so they got to have all these signs there, like don't move this, don't move that, and all that. And I get it. I want to respect that, and because they have parties there. So, but we're kind of at the point where I just felt like we needed to maybe move the show. We've been running it for 5 whatever years there, and I just felt it was ready for an upgrade. I can't market the show. We have all these other shows that are ICC, and I know that we're not ICC, but we have ICC, and you have another show in Texas, and that's Star Wars, and I feel like Star Wars GI Joe, and then you do have Joe Fest up in Georgia and all that, and so I just feel like that should be a bigger show. I've always felt that way, but with the limited amount of parking and the limited space, and then all of the little rules and stuff, I've wanted to find a new location. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, I think I'm just going to check with vendors and see if they're okay with that and all that. But what I'm proposing is that we use the Hilton Orlando for this next time. I want to bring the Star Wars GI Joe show back, and I'll come back to you, Archie. But basically, the August 9th is I'm moving the date too. What that does is that the August 2nd would have been four shows in a row, and so that gives us a little 1 week break. And then also with the Hilton Orlando, we can bring a guest in. They can stay at the hotel just like Greg Berger did. It's a nice place with plenty of parking, so I can promote it. And so we can have a guest who I already have talked to, the Storm Shadow voice for GI Joe, and then maybe we could get Greg Berger back. I don't know, but we can have a full show there. Okay, we can have a full Star Wars show. Now, maybe it's not going to be Star Wars Celebration or some crazy ICC stuff or whatever, but we can still have a good show there and a full show, and people can come in, and we can make it better than we had. Okay, so that is kind of what I'm now. I'm hoping that it doesn't ruin this other thing that I'm wanting to do, which I have the contract for and all that. I just gotta nail it down. But I had talked to several vendors about, and I know I'm doing a lot of schedule stuff here, guys. So sorry, I'm not, if I, hopefully I'm not boring you, but I made a lot of changes like today, just based on confirmations and stuff like that. So we are going to try this. I'm 99% sure we're going to try this. Kissimmee's already October 3rd. That's going to be in the small room. This next time in Kissimmee, we're going to be in the big space. Okay. And in the fall, we'll be back in our smaller room. We're going to get a setup day the night before, to help make things smoother. But we are going to be in the smaller room in Kissimmee on October 3rd. So what I thought we would do, because I believe people don't want to drive. I think they're two different groups of people. That's my opinion. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a Kissimmee show on the 3rd, and then we're going to go and stay over at Altamont for the 4th. So it'll be two, let's say, smaller rooms. It's going to be two sets of vendors. So, people, because this one sells out very quickly, and usually, so we'll have some overflow. So we'll have a whole new set of vendors, with the exception of a few regulars. We'll have a whole new set of vendors on the 4th, the next day up in Altamont. So they are, 30 miles or more apart. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Okay. And then after that, we'll be down in South Florida. So that the other addition on here is the Melbourne Collector Fest that we're going to do in August. That's kind of taken to replace my Lakeland show. Actually, the Star Wars is kind of taking the place of that, but I think that's okay. But let's see, if we go back here, Lakeland, I am moving for this year anyway. I want to try it here on the 7th of June. Okay, and so so I'll post this schedule up for people. Okay, if anybody, again, I'm throwing a lot at you, but anyway, so let me go ahead and remove that. All right, let me go back again to some of my notes here. We're going to be making, and then I'll talk about Kissimmee. And so I went through a whole bunch of schedule updates with you. Again, I'm waiting on Bradenton. We're going to do another one, a couple at Altamont. The people there are really nice. They did have those 18-inch tables, which I'm going to change the map around to for that adjustment. And then changing the stuff around for GI Joe and the World Golf Village show. I talked about that, just making sure that I'm covering everything. All right. Okay, so while we're on the little short break here, because we do have Port St. Lucie coming up, I'm going to be working on the magazine. We're going to take some photos. So if you guys have pictures from the show or whatever, I'm going to be working on the magazine. We're also going to be working on a bunch of updates. I'm going to be working on a bunch of updates to the website. So now on the things that we're going to do, I'm going to do because I have that's my background, but I'm going to so we're going to add a page for each show. So the current show, it'll have a full page, where it is, times, so instead of just having the graphic and then a link to the Eventity page, we're going to have an actual page that has graphics and including, the guests that are there, a flyer, the amount of space. I'm still not going to do a vendor list because that's just not what I do, but there'll be a ticket link there. And so it'll be more of a sales page, full sales page for each event is the goal. The other thing that I want to put on there, because we're going to be making some changes for vendors and really customers. We got some videos that people have given us. We've got some feedback that people have given us, and we're going to have that on there. So I'm going to have a frequently asked questions. For example, do I leave my stuff on a 2-day show? Do I leave my stuff there, overnight? Okay, that's one thing. How much space is there? Can I bring extra tables? Can I, all of these things that I'm asked at every show, basically, when it's set up, when, how, all of these things I'm going to put on there. So that way people that are new or even people that aren't new, can go through them and you'll know all of this stuff. I am still working on guests, working on some Back to the Future people. I'm working on that for, I'm actually working on multiple stuff on the Tampa Toy Con guest list. We're going to have at least 5 or 6 people for guests, and then we're going to have 10 by 10 spaces for those that want that. We will have regular tables also. It's going to be the biggest show of the year for us. And then we'll have the Batmobile. I know I'm kind of rambling here, going all over, but that's going to be in July. Okay. Let's see. And then just trying to make sure that I've covered everything here. What is my rant this week? I don't have a rant. It's mostly I'm trying that I'm doing too much, and then I'm making changes. So that's kind of a rant about myself mostly. Okay. The site updates. Yes. So I'm going to enhance the website. What I've been trying to do, guys, is number one, stay consistent every week here, doing a video. And then the other thing that I want to do is I want to, I've also been updating the website pretty much after every show. I haven't updated it yet, but it will be updated tomorrow. But I now want to add pages to it. I want to add more content there. So you're going to see more content there. You're going to see more. So I'm working on getting all of that. So, okay. All right. And that is kind of about it. I'm going to talk a little bit about Kissimmee. And then I'm going to go back through the list. So Kissimmee, I'm working on maybe a couple guests or one guest at least for that show. I don't have that to put out there yet, but I know it's a couple weeks out. But we are going to be in Kissimmee on Saturday, the 23rd. Now, you might say, well, Jeff, that is the start of Memorial Day weekend, okay? Kissimmee, all right? Well, the reason why we've got this date instead of our March date is because it's free parking, okay? They're charging $15 to park there now, and I didn't want you guys to pay that. So, or I didn't want customers to pay that. and so I decided that I was not gonna. They gave me a new date, and I didn't look at the calendar. So the 23rd is that no parking. Oh yeah, we went to Ford Garage. You know what, Andy, I didn't get a picture of everybody. Okay, next time we go, Andy, we went out to eat with like 12 vendors. It was pretty cool. What I do on the 2-day shows is we go out to eat afterwards, and I usually take a small group of vendors with us to just a network and stuff like that. I'd like to do more of that. And so we went to Ford Garage. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah. And I forgot to do a group photo though. That's what I forgot to do. Um, okay. Now let me go ahead and go over where some of these shows are. As far as I had a great time. It was interesting getting in there, parking. Yeah. So and then some of the people that I haven't seen before. So let me go ahead and let's see. I know that's well, it's kind of small here. I guess I'll make myself small. Okay. So all right. So as far as availability goes, okay, Port St. Lucie is sold out. Sold out. And then you have Kissimmee because it's the big room. If it was a small room, it would be way sold out. The big room, I'm not going to use all of it. So it's I have some space. It's really aisles, corners, wall, 10 by 10s are all gone. So I do have some aisles if you're interested in that. Okay. Central Florida Collector Fest on the 7th. That is the Lakeland show. I do have space there. It is filling up, but I do have space. Uh Interesting. Weekend Mandalorian money. Okay, well, thanks for mentioning that because I was thinking about booking somebody. I will talk to them. All right. And then Ocala is sold out. Sold out. Now, we're going to do probably a fall show at this same location in Ocala, and then next year I'm going to probably find a new space. Not that, the people, there's nothing wrong with the people there. It's just, the idea was to go there, establish a show, and then maybe go bigger. That's what I hope to do. Okay, Tallahassee. I still need some vendors for that. But we got a good start going on that. Tampa Toy Con, I've got lots of space. I mean, that is like 40,000 square feet. It's a huge space to fill, and so got plenty of room right now for that. Coral Springs, same thing. So most of these maybe I haven't posted. So there's anything after, I think the last one is Fort Myers. So okay, someone is asking me if they have a spot. Well, I don't know. Yeah, you do. Okay. You're asking me if you have a spot. And then I have other people asking me about invoices. I will invoice them. But yes, let me just tell this. I can't believe. Okay. Okay. So anyway, I need to actually get some of these other shows that you'll see. I'm nailing them down. So a lot of these fall ones, I think trying to remember how many shows we've done. So this is 16. So if we do, I think we've done 9 shows this year so far. So let's see. I'd have to go back and look. So this would be, if we do all these and we don't even do a show in November, that would be 24. So 25 is what we did last year. I don't know if we're going to do more or not, but I don't, this is really kind of nailing down. I'd like to go maybe back to Ocala, or I'd like to do something else in November for sure, 1 or 2, and then that'll be it. So no December. So okay, guys. So thank you for coming out. I know maybe this wasn't maybe the most entertaining version of our show, but I wanted to, come on and talk about all, every week there's something changes. There's changes. And next week I'm going to try to be more prepared with guests and all that. You know, doing 3 shows in a row is a lot of work. Even for vendors and me. Like it's like I don't. Even on Monday yesterday, I was up in the morning and I was going through people applications and everything. Some people that they don't know we're at a show. Some people are there's vendors that they're just, hey, I applied on Friday. Why don't I have an approval? You would be amazed at the times and stuff that I get information. So, hey Dan, hopefully you're doing well, and hopefully you did all right there at the Tampa show. And I don't know anybody actually, Shay. So that's a good question though. But maybe if we do a more of a closer holiday show, I do know Scott Schwartz from the Christmas Story. I believe he's going to be in Fort Myers. That's what he said, that he was available. So I think he's going to be in Fort Myers. And so I'm working on all kinds of guest stuff actually. So all right, guys, I'll let you go and have a good evening. Have a good week. Maybe I'll see you this weekend out there somewhere. Or if not, you'll see me next Tuesday. All right. Have a good week. All right. Bye now.